Hey, how we doing? I'm Andy. This is Spiders. Thank you very much for coming back. If you're new here, I hope you enjoy what you see like. Today we're going to have a look at some new additions that I've picked up recently. Now some of this is stuff I've never kept before. It's all new to me. Some of it is stuff that up until recently I had actually no interest in keeping, if I'm totally honest. And then we've got a couple of friendlies as well, more stuff that I've got for my grandson, stuff like that. So yeah, what I'm going to do, rather than chundering on, I'll just crack on with it really. So I'll catch you in a bit. So yeah, as you can see, we've got two boxes. So one of them's from the Spider Shop and one of them's from BugzUK. And there is also, well, it's not a parcel, but I also picked up some other stuff separately, which I will show you later on. But first up, we've got this. I'm going to show you, this is the Spiropace Fisheri, or the giant matte black millipede. And you see, I bought, as you can see there on the tub, these have come from the Spider Shop, and I bought 3 of these. Now they're all a pretty good size. They're all about 7 or 8 inches in length, which is absolutely perfect, because I wanted something of a good size really, because I want to use these in work as well and take them in so that some of the kids can have a look. I've got some ivory millipedes, but they're a lot smaller, a lot less substantial size wise and everything. So as you'll see here, this is just going to show you one of them. Really, they're really nice millipedes. These, I was going to get some of the giant African millipedes, the giant train millipedes, but if I'm honest, I prefer the look of these. I think these ones are absolutely stunning. And yeah, this is the enclosure. So basically, you got about 8, maybe 9 inches of substrate in a big rub, and this. The substrate in here is, it's a mix of topsoil, some mix from the woods, or as beastie mix as Dave would call it, some cocoa, some we've got loads of dead white wood in there, or rotting white wood. We got some sphagnum moss, loads of leaf litter, and I basically just mixed it all up. And then we've put these in to settle, and like I say, some extra sphagnum moss, a few bits of cork back for them to hide under, and like I said, they seem to be doing all right. They've been in about a fortnight now, and yeah, they seem to be doing great. So yeah, that was the millipedes. Like I say, I do prefer them ones, if I'm honest, just but from the look of them and their appearance, I do prefer them over the giant African millipedes, although I do plan on probably getting some of them and some of the bumblebee millipedes further down the line as well. But next up, again, something else that the grandson had been interested in was the giant African land snails. So I just so happened that on the Spider Shop they had some of the giant West African, which is the A. marginata, if I'm not mistaken. So I also ordered one of them, so I'll give you a quick look at that now. So yeah, here we are. Like I said, it doesn't look much really when it's in a tub full of moss, but this is actually a really pretty looking snail. The grandson loves it, although if I'm honest, it doesn't do much. It does move around its enclosure, which I'm going to show you right about now. And here we go. So I'm just giving it a spray. This is just before it went in. Now I did read that these like to hide, so I've given it a couple of cork backs. And we put it just inside there, and like I say, it has moved around this enclosure quite a bit. I added some cuttlefish, I put food in there, and it eats the food and everything. It just always seems to retreat back into one of these cork backs. But yeah, like I say, it was just something, this is something I have kept years and years ago when my kids were really small, but probably for the last 15 years or so, it's not something I'd ever thought to get back in the collection. But yeah, we pulled the plug, and we've got another one. So yeah, like I say, there's not much really to see with the snail, is it? Do you know what I mean? It's a shell, and well, sometimes you see the snail as it is. I've only seen it twice since we had it. It's been in there, well, probably about a fortnight, as long as these all arrived the same day as the millipedes. So, but yeah, like I say, it's doing well, it's feeding. We do see it moving, well, I don't see it moving around, but I place the food and the cuttlefish around the enclosure, and they're obviously being eaten and used, and then it disappears back in its cork back. So yeah, right, I'm going to move on now. So next up we've got something, this is something I've never kept before, and like I say, up until about a year ago, anybody that knows me knows that these things freak me out, which is scorpions. So anyway, like I said, I've been taking more of an interest in them, doing a little bit more research, and I decided I was gonna get myself one. And then when I was actually sort of looking, I ended up getting 3. So I've picked up the Hadrurus arizonensis, the desert hairy scorpion, which is only a little thing, and I'll show you that now. So yeah, I was expecting this to be a little bit bigger, if I'm honest. I don't know why. I expected it to be more of a sub-adult, and then when it arrived in this little pot, it threw me out a little bit, because I'd actually set up quite a large enclosure for it, so I had to have a bit of a rethink. As it was, I had something here, so we were able to sort it. So you can just see it in the bottom of the pot there. It is quite small. It's about 2.5, maybe 3 inches. When it's fully, well, probably about 2 inches actually, being more realistic, before the tail, not including the tail. So yeah, this is the enclosure that I eventually settled for. It's only going to be temporary, this. So it's just got some really dry topsoil with a bit of sand underneath, a bit of leaf litter, and a couple of cork pieces for it to hide under as and when it wants to, like. Now, if I'm honest, this here is more me trying to get a grip and get it open. The actual scorpion didn't give me any stresses, although again at this size and being in such a deep tub, it's in one of the 5-litre Brayplast, so it can't get up the side. I suppose it was never going to be able to get, going to be in a position to give me any trouble. But yeah, you can see there, this is a proper cool little thing. So this is the first one of these that I've kept, considering that I've been keeping teas for just over 25 years now. But as I've said before, up until recently, scorpions always sort of freaked me out. But I've just been getting some experience with them, working with Nick and the team at Bugfest and things like that. And like I say, it's just piqued my interest a little bit more, so I decided that it was time to get a couple and see how things go. So that's the Hadrurus arizonensis, that one is the desert hairy. Yeah, so like you say, that's my first scorpion, and this was separate again, but I also managed to pick up a couple of Heterometrus spinifers, sub-adults. So I've only got these really in the enclosures, but I'll just give you a quick look so you can see what they look like. These are pretty cool as well. So I got 2 of them. The intention initially I'd been thinking about setting them up communally, but then the more reading again, when I looked into keeping them communally, the best advice was probably not to, and I thought with it being new to me, I didn't want to put them together and then only end up with one in a couple of weeks, all because I hadn't really done it properly. So I thought I'd set up another enclosure. So one of them that's in the biggest enclosure, that is the enclosure that was going to be for both of them initially, but then when I changed my mind, I had to set up another one for the other enclosure, so they will both end up, or one of them is going to get rehoused anyway. The smaller one will go into a bigger enclosure again, give it a bit more room. But yeah, I'm waffling on. I'm just going to shut up and show you the scorps. I'll see you in a minute. So yeah, this is it. This was like a couple of days after I'd picked it up. Now I've got 2 of them, and if I'm honest, I'm not sure if which one. If they're a pair, I'm not sure if one's male, female, or if it's 2 males, 2 females. I haven't had a chance to check. I have held one of them. I've handled one of them a couple of times, but when I was doing it, I was more concentrating on handling and what I was doing than really worrying about lifting it up and getting photographs of it underneath. So I will do that at a later time, and then I'll try and sex this one and the other one. But yeah, say, stocky little beasts, and I was really impressed with them. I found myself quite fascinated. Now I'll just sit watching them when I can see that one of them's out and about. I'll just sit there watching them, and then there is obviously the whole fact of shining the black light on them. Now my missus wasn't aware of the fact that they could glow up under a black light, so when I showed her it, she was like proper gobsmacked. It was quite funny to see her reaction, really. Now I'm going to stop going on. This is the other one. You see this one's probably a little bit smaller, certainly a little bit less stocky. I think the pincers are probably a little bit smaller on this one, but again, I can't be 100% on that because, I say, you don't see a great deal of them. They tend to stay away. They have both fed since they've arrived. I'm just doing my best now in getting them settled, and like I say, we'll follow this up with some updates further down the line. Yeah, so there we have it. That's the Heterometrus spinifer, the Asian forest scorpions. Again, really cool. I do like sitting there. Oh, that's my phone going off, do excuse me. I do like sitting there with the black light every now and again, just shining it on them and watching them glow. It looks pretty cool. Weirdly, I haven't actually got any photographs of that yet. I've taken a few photos of the scorpions in normal light, but I haven't taken any of them under the black light yet, so I'll have to do that and see what the results come out like. But next up, this is something a little extra that came from BugzUK. Now, if I'm honest, I've never ordered from BugzUK in the past. No particular reason why. I think most of the time the stuff that I'm after, when I've been looking for it and I've gone on there, it's been out of stock. But anyway, what I actually picked up is this. So yeah, you see, we've got a little white box here, and I don't know if you can see the label, but there you go. This is another vinegaroon. Now, I did have one of these I bought last year, but unfortunately it died at the beginning of this summer, and I honestly haven't got a clue as to what went on with it. It seemed to be thriving, but that one was the Mystiga Proctus gigantea. This one is a slightly different species. This is the Mystiga Proctus Tohono, which is from Tohono, and again, rather than being from Florida like a lot of them are from the Americas, this one is actually from, I think it's the Arizona desert, but I may be wrong on that because sometimes my geography can be a bit out. But yeah, it's from a place called Tohono. Now apparently this one will grow a little bit smaller than the giant vinegaroon. It's only a juvie at the moment, and as you can see here, really friendly. I do love these things. My grandson and all the kids sort of enjoy this. It's something that I can get out without any fears, really. I know they are able to shoot that vinegar, but if I'm honest, they don't really, it takes a lot. It takes a lot to get them to do that. You've got to really piss one off. So here we are. That was the enclosure that it's going into. This is just a little temporary setup because, again, with me having to chop and change some of the other stuff that arrived on this day, it left me without another big tub for this one. Well, I did have some tubs, but they all had too many air rolls. So anyway, there we go. That's the Telson there. That's what does the damage if you do piss it off enough and you manage to get vinegar sprayed at you. But if I'm honest, like I say, I've owned a couple of these and I've worked with quite a few others over time, and I've never had any problems. The only time I've ever had vinegar sprayed at me was when I was actually trying to rehouse my last one into its enclosure. And the vinegar didn't actually hit me, it all stayed inside, but it did make the bedroom stink for about an hour and a half, which was something that I'd rather not have to go through again, because it just basically smelled like a chip shop. So yeah, there's the vinegaroon settling in. Again, this one will get rehoused further down the line, so I may do a video of that rehousing, but either way I will provide some updates at some point further down the line. Here we go. As I was mentioning about the family, this is actually my other half son, my stepson, Ben, holding the vinegaroon. As you can see, this is a couple of days later, so it was pretty active. It had fed, I think, the day before, and yeah, everything, it seemed pretty cool. It was dead happy, and like I say, Great little pet, great for the kids, really friendly, no fangs, no sting, so definitely something that everyone should look into in my opinion. But yeah, that's it, the Mastiga Proctus Tohono. Yeah, right, well, that's everything. So, like I say, not a bad haul in all fairness, you know. I haven't bought anything for a while. Now, I'm saying that, but the way that it's working out is this video will probably be coming out the day before the Midlands show in Coventry, which I am going to. So if anybody's going to be there, that'll be awesome. Come and say hello and I'll catch up with you as while I'm there. I have got some stuff on pre-order from Mitch at Unseen Universe, and got a couple of things in mind as to what I want to pick up on the day. So the chances are there'll be another video coming out soon with another haul of stuff that I picked up at the show. But yeah, look out for that. That'll probably be next week if I'm honest. But yeah, like I say, hope you've enjoyed what you've seen. I know I'm called Spiders, and there's been no spiders in this one technically, but yeah, there probably should be next week either way. So yeah, come back then. Hope you've enjoyed what you've seen, and I'll see you all next time. Ta-da.